Hey guys, I am here with another video. I hope that you guys really like the sticker video that I did the other day. If you haven't done it yet, go check it out. Today I am wearing orange, as you can see. I didn't think I would like this color that much because I didn't think orange would look good, but I kind of like it. So yesterday was red, today's orange, tomorrow is my favorite, yellow. For today's video, we are going to be making kind of like a fluffy dough. So it's almost like Play-Doh. It says it's like a fluffy slime, but I don't think it's like slime at all. So you're gonna need a few things. You're gonna need cornstarch and some sort of hair conditioner. I think you can use lotion as well if you don't have any conditioner. I just haven't tried it. So just an example, in my video, I do them in tiny little separate balls that I do in a rainbow color. But this is what the stuff looks like, and you can pull it apart, and you can squeeze it, and you can mash it, and it shouldn't stick to your hands. It smells really good because of the conditioner inside, and you can dye them to any color, which you'll see in my next video coming up. It doesn't last forever though, so if you keep it in like an airtight container like this, and just keep it shut when you're not using it, kind of like real Play-Doh, then it should last you a few weeks, but it doesn't last forever. And I heard that if you put it in the fridge, that they last a little bit longer. So yeah, you guys can make whatever you want out of this, or you can just use it as a stress ball. It's kind of fun and it feels good in your hands. So I hope you guys like this. I kind of wanted to do things different than just drawing videos every time, so I'm sorry that if you're missing the drawing videos, they will be coming back. I just wanted to get a few extra different kinds of art in there instead of drawing every day. So I hope to see lots of fluffy dough and the stickers from yesterday, because the stickers were probably my favorite one so far, just because it's a really cool idea. So I will see you guys tomorrow with another video. Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to make a fluffy dough using two ingredients. You're going to need cornstarch, conditioner, I like to use white so I can dye the colors later, a 1 cup measuring cup, something to mix with like a spatula, and food dye or any sort of dye that you have. You could also probably use markers like we do for the Model Magic in the classroom. So I'm going to start with 1 cup of cornstarch, and it's pretty dusty, so just be careful. I put a pan underneath here, so you might want to put maybe newspapers down too. And definitely do this in a room that can get a little bit messy, because it does. It comes out of the bowl. You're going to do the same equal amount of cornstarch to conditioner. So that means if I did a cup of cornstarch, I have to do a cup of conditioner. But you're going to see as I mix it that I actually need a little bit more cornstarch than I do conditioner. But just to start, make sure that you do the same, because it's a little easier to add more cornstarch than having to go back and forth with cornstarch to conditioner. So you're going to mix that up completely. So as you're mixing, the cornstarch likes to fly out of the bowl and get a little bit messy, but it's going to start to clump up. But you're going to keep mixing, mixing, mixing until all of that powder looks like it's mixed in. And right now it's going to be like a sticky slime, so if you touch it, it's going to get stuck all over your hands. You want it to look more like a Play-Doh. So I could tell right now that it's way too sticky. So if something is too wet or too sticky, you need to add something dry to it. So you need to add more cornstarch. And I have not tried this with flour, so you could try flour and conditioner. I'm not sure how that would work, but I just use cornstarch. So I'm going to add a little bit more cornstarch. It's getting a little bit better. I think I'm going to have to add some more because it's a little bit sticky yet. And you can test it by putting your finger in it or like touching a little bit of it, and if it's sticking to your fingers, then you're going to want to add more cornstarch. If you end up adding too much cornstarch, then you add a little bit extra conditioner. So if it gets too dry and too clumpy, then conditioner. And this stuff smells really good because of the conditioner. Now it's looking a lot better. It should start to clump up in one big ball almost. If it looks like frosting, you probably need to do a little bit more. So I tested it with my finger and it's still a little bit too sticky. So I'm going to go ahead and add more cornstarch. This time I had a bunch in just because I was probably getting annoyed that it was still sticky. Because you guys know how good of a baker I am. Now I can tell that it's getting a lot thicker. So sometimes it gets a little bit hard to mix at this point. Then you know that you're getting close, so that you can take it out of the bowl with your hands. And scrape the edges of the spatula, put that down. Right, so now I'm going to grab it with my hands and make sure that nothing is sticking to my hands and everything is mixed well. So I grabbed a little bit at a time. Now I'm going back and forth, kind of like we do with the clay in the classroom, to get it into a ball. And just keep adding to it. If you have stuff in there that's like really slimy, maybe just leave it in the bowl and don't use it. So now that when you mix it in your hands, it's going to be a lot more thicker and fluffier like we want it. Now I'm going to move all that stuff out of the way. I'm just going to use my pan. So this part is still messy, so just be careful where you're doing it. Kitchen would probably be the best place for this. So now you can tell it's more dough-like. And even rolling it around on that pan to pick up all those little extra pieces you can do. And nothing should be really sticking to your fingers anymore. I have stuff on my fingers from making it, but as you're doing this part, nothing should be sticking to your hands. I'm going to roll it around on the pan a little bit. And when you roll it around on a metal pan, it's going to get really, really smooth too. For this project though, I am going to break it up into 6 separate Play-Doh balls. We're going to do rainbow, but if you don't want to do rainbow or you don't have enough colors or whatever your situation is, then you can make whatever color you would like. So I'm going to break them up. I just pulled off randomly and then I tested them after I was done to make sure that they're all the same size. So you're going to see me pull apart a little bit extra from each ball to make sure that some of them were too big, some of them were too small. So I'm going to pinch a few off and add it to the smaller ones. And you can kind of feel them in your hands if it's bigger or smaller. There we go. Now I'm going to really roll them into a ball. Alright, now you're going to grab your dye or whatever you're using. If you're using markers, you just color right on top of the dough and then mix it. It's just going to take a lot longer to get that darker color. So I'm starting with red. I'm pushing a hole into it so that the dye can sit in there and it doesn't spill off the side. So I'm making like a little cave for it. So if you smush it inside and keep folding it, you're going to get less on your hands. If you have gloves or something, or maybe you can put them in a plastic bag and you can do this part if you really don't want to get any on your hands. But as long as you do this folding method, then you're probably not going to get a lot on your hands. Later on you can see that I do get a little bit because it does start to spill out the sides. But for the most part, if you fold it, it's not going to come out. So I do this a few times just because since it's so white, that the colors are going to be a lot lighter. So if you want them to be darker, then you just have to keep doing this multiple times. I do it maybe like 2 or 3 times for each one. So push the hole in, put the dye in. And if you're using this kind of dye, remember only do like 2 or 3, maybe 4 droplets, just because this stuff is really strong and liquidy. So if the more dye you put in at once, the more it's going to spread all over the place and make a mess.
For the colors that you don't have in dye, just make sure that you're mixing 2 colors together. Usually the back of the box will tell you, just kind of like on Easter eggs. The next part I'm going to speed up just because mixing them takes a long time. I do it the same way I did the red one. When you're done, just make sure that you put them in like an airtight container or some sort of bag to keep them fresh, and they do last a few weeks. They don't last forever. Keeping them in the fridge would probably make them last a little bit longer. See ya!